Has nothing to do with it. No. It's got to be a war. Out of the war, this power arises. Okay. Out of this war, the authority that is given. That's what the scripture was saying. See, right here where he read, he said, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive what? Power. Okay? As kings 1 hour. In other words, God is making sure they get that power. In other words, they are domineering forces. Okay? And they feel they are domineering forces until the Antichrist stomps 3 of them right royally into the ground. The Bible said he's going to stamp on them, tread them under his feet, just royally trounce them. Now, mind you, think about this. That's his own people.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. We read that, Charlie. Has no care at all. He's making a statement. Is what he's doing. And we're going to reread those. But it won't be till chapter 18. I was a little ahead. I was all planning on getting to some of those tonight. But I wasn't realizing I was about half a chapter off yet. Ahead of you. Okay. So but as we're establishing this, okay. So the 10 kings. Okay. We'll go 13 and 14.
These are of one mind, and they will give their power and authority to the beast. These will make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb will overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings. And those who are with him are called chosen and faithful.
Oh boy, now this is a vast, wonderful passage of Scripture, and at the same time, it's making a long-term, short-term statement. Okay? It says, they have one mind. What made them of one mind?
Satan did.
Well,
Right?
well, he is the backer of it.
God.
The Antichrist, by stomping the living tar out of 3 of them.
Well, isn't the Antichrist Satan?
Mm-mm.
Well, I'm really
He's a man.
He put them all under his agenda, so they're all...
Yes.
Yeah.
So when they conformed to him, they were not conformed to him until he trounced those 3.
So they're like just being compliant.
They ain't compliant because they want to be. They're compliant because they're afraid not to be compliant.
See the full power.
It's futile.
That's it. That's exactly how we read it. Yeah, if you want to, we can go back and reread that because that's Daniel. Okay. Yeah. Because in Daniel he said he trounced them and he just trampled them underfoot to subdue them, to get them to conform to one mind. We're going to listen to him, boy. We're under one mind now, but we're under one mind under duress. It's kind of like keeping a teenager in check, so to speak. They're only in check because force says you're going to, so to speak. This is what it's saying, though. Okay, and this he said, one mind, and they shall give their power and their strength to the beast. In other words, at that time frame, because of what he done, they're going to pitch in with him because they seen it very futile to try to go against him. Okay. Now, if I know this has been quite a while ago, so as I'm bringing this back to you, see, now you're grasping why when we studied the book of Daniel, I was trying to get you to remember quite a bit of it, because to tie these together, okay, is how you're able to get it all understood. Okay? Yeah, so when he rose up, snagged a hold of the trounced this scripture, they came of one mind. Up to that time, not hardly, Charlie, you know. But after seeing what happened to the three, well,
You know, it kind of don't make much sense to me because Israel's 6-day war just stopped. Just stopped them.
mhm,
Instead of saying, okay, we give, you're it, we'll follow you. They'd rather follow Satan.
that's right.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
I know. But under this authority, they can do what they want. When you're studying this, the pillaging, the plundering, the rapes, everything that goes with this is all stated. Okay? They do exactly what they want. And the only thing, if you remember, and that's why I always read it and studied it, the only thing he cares about is his army, and the only thing he makes sure is fed, the Bible said. It's his army, his people. We're going to read about all these things that we're talking about that's going on, and all of it is just for the Antichrist and his people.
So when the Antichrist takes power, then Armageddon begins?
Nope.
Where does the...
Megiddo doesn't start until the end, huh?
Where does it, is it when he makes war with the Lamb?
Okay, that's what I said. Now, that's why I said what I said. This is short term, mid-term, and long term. Okay. This passage of scripture here was simply fill-in explanation for this. That's why I started the way I did tonight. That's back to how hard this can be until you get the timelines down. So right here as he's talking, this is talking about before the tribulation begins. This was talking about as the tribulation begins. This was talking about how the tribulation begins. This was talking about the middle of the tribulation. And it was talking about the end of the tribulation all at the same time.
So it's more of a reaffirmation that, God, that it's going to come to this point.
Yes.
Where God has his chosen, there will be war.
Yes. But I love this piece here. Go ahead, Jerry.
Oh, I'm just going to make sure I get it clear in my mind. This Lord of Lords, this Lamb, this King of Kings is not the King of Kings, Lord of Lords.
Yes, it is.
This is God.
This is Jesus Christ, and this is the chosen. We are the chosen people. This is the battle of Megiddo happening. This is God's people establishing God's authority at the end. But it's been stated here in the middle, along with everything else. That's why I went through the program that I started this evening, because this is clarification, and until we get all of these things understood, it don't go together very easy. Well,
That's fine. If we go scripture by scripture from week to week, and as we go a little ways, if I stop and go back and just read without stopping everything, then it pulls everything together, because after several weeks you kind of forget what happened 4 weeks ago. So I have to go back and read, okay, the last half of that chapter, and like, okay, that pulls everything back together for me. For
Mhm.
so it gets confusing. So you want us to rewind? Rewind, I have to rewind.
yeah, and that's why, and that was why I remember making those statements in the book of Daniel. Remember, I said, this is so that when we get to these places in the book of Revelations, it will help you if you can remember the things you have already read.